add to stream. Okay, did that work? I think that worked because now I see myself. So I'm really hoping that that means you guys can see me. And I'm just going to see before I get started if it's working for sure. I want to get confirmation and then we're going to get started. Yeah. Hey, Cassie, you couldn't see it on Facebook. Okay. All right, cool. I think it's working. All right, great. So I'm just gonna do it because I think it's working, but this is awkward. Technology is so weird, right? All right, hey guys, full moon and Libra reading. This is hey Bohemian lover. It's good to see you. I know Bohemian from my crystal sales that I'm always on. Hey Alyssa, hey Patty. Hello, Cassie, Angela. Good to see you, everybody, wherever you're coming from, whichever one you're on right now. Thanks for being here. So here's the deal. We have the full moon in Libra tonight. And this means that this is a heavy relationship focus. When we're working with the release of the full moon in the Libran energy, we're looking at relationship energy and connection energy. So that might mean that right now, maybe you definitely are having some heavy emotions around relationships. You might be feeling a little bit more triggered lately than normal. There's something that needs to be healed though. So what happens is, first of all, we're always in need of healing. As energetic beings, we're always working through energy. We're always releasing old energy, working with new energy. We're always clearing layers. Hey, Ashley, good to see you. This is just part of our process, okay? I always love in Shrek when he talks about how we're like onions, we have layers. That's really the truth, okay? So, when we have this full moon energy each cycle, this is a time when there's some energy that's ready to get released, okay? So, with tonight's full moon, we're going to see what is the energy. First of all, it's going to be somewhere within the realm of relationships and coming into balance, because Libra is the archetype of interpersonal relationships, interconnectedness, and really just the give and the take of ourselves and who we interact with and what we interact with, okay? So this could be, all right, we already have a couple cards that came flying out. This could be showing up in romantic relationships, family relationships, work relationships. It doesn't really matter, okay? I'm going to pull one more, okay? So, wow, we're getting some really awesome energy. And it's funny, we got surrender, and surrender is definitely an important energy of a full moon, right? When we need to release old energy, we're not always conscious of what needs to go. We're not always consciously aware of what has played out its role in our life, what has played out its course, what energies exist in a relationship that need to go that are not serving us. And a lot of times, we have inner power coming up here. I'm just going to hold that up closer to this camera. All right. We have inner power, surrender, and worth. All right. When we're talking about inner power and worth, okay, this is really important because in any relationship that we have, we are exchanging energy, okay? We are giving of ourselves, we are interacting with other people in certain circumstances, and we are constantly in a state of negotiation of our energy in terms of our beliefs. How are we serving other people? What are we receiving in return? This is coming through in the way that, we feel around certain people and in certain situations. This is coming through in the way that we're treated, okay? So I find it really interesting that we're getting worth and inner power showing up, because this tells me that as a collective, we all, in some capacity in certain relationships, hey, Candace, we're all negotiating parts of ourselves. I want you guys to think about, where do you feel that you're hustling for worth? You're hustling to be noticed. You're hustling for somebody to pay attention to you. You are draining your power because you're looking for acceptance, belonging, love, whatever it is, okay? Where is that happening? Because Spirit is saying, by giving us this inner worth and inner power set here, along with surrender, I feel like what I'm hearing is the fact that in some capacity in our life right now, we are draining our power to somebody else. Okay. We are draining our power to something that maybe comes from a feeling of not being good enough, a feeling of not being enough in some way, right? Maybe not attractive enough, not smart enough, not successful enough, not whatever. Fill in the blank with your enoughness. Okay. We all go through this. So when we have worth and inner power coming up, it really kind of calls for you to feel into what relationship or circumstance in your life are you trading your worth? Are you trading for approval? Are you seeking to change your words, your actions, your behaviors? Are you seeking to manipulate the way somebody sees you? What are you doing? Where are you showing up? Not in your power. Okay. So, in other words, maybe you don't feel super confident in a certain way. Maybe you don't feel lovable. Maybe you don't feel worthy. Okay. Where is that happening? What type of a relationship is that for you? Um, and with this surrender, this is spirit saying, hey, you need to give this up. Okay. There is nothing about you that needs to change, because what happens is if we're trading in our power and our worth for that approval or that, validation from somebody else, we're not working with our power. Okay. We're not grounded. We're not sitting in the security of who we are as souls. Okay. We don't need to change ourselves ever in any capacity for acceptance and belonging. When we feel that we need to do that, we're not in the right relationships. Okay. If we feel that we need to earn the love and earn the acceptance and earn the approval or earn the time and the attention, there's something off. I was listening to one of my favorite readers. If you guys um, should check him out, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Nicholas Ashba. And he's out in California. He's awesome. He did a really, really long, detailed reading this morning for the collective with this full moon. And he was talking about when people show you who they are, believe them. Don't question, and dismiss and disregard the evidence that is there that they may not value you or care about you the way that you deserve. This is kind of what I'm getting from these cards, is that in some capacity, we are each trying to reconcile something that's letting us down. Okay. Something that is bringing us down. Because when we're standing in our power, we recognize who we are. We recognize that there's nothing about us that needs to shift and change. And when we're involved in, any level of engagement that makes us feel this way about ourselves, that we need to shift or change, then we're going to have to be honest with ourselves. It is always our decision to negotiate and trade in our power for what we get out of it. And it's never the right thing to do, guys, never. And that's hard, right? Because sometimes you might be in a situation where you don't want that to be the case, right? You want to be with a certain person, you want something to work out, and you want to give it your all. But the thing is, if you have to, um, like talk to yourself about the way somebody's treating you and make excuses for why you accept it, or make excuses for them, or, again, finding yourself trying to like change yourself up to get that approval, like that's a major red flag. Okay. This is not about the other person, though. So it's not like, let's say you're in a situation like that, and now you're thinking, well, what, at that person, they're crappy and they're not for me, or I'm going to be mad at them. No, it's that they're operating from their energy and you need to operate from yours. And if it doesn't jive, if you feel this sense of having to drain your power in order to get this worth and this sense of inner power, this sense of security, then it's telling you important information and you need to go from there. You need to do what's right for you. This is about self-love more than anything, because when we come into balance, when we suddenly are no longer giving of ourselves in order to receive, when there's an equal exchange, right? When what you're putting out, you're receiving back, that tells you, that balance is letting you know that you're in a healthy situation. Okay. There needs to be an equal exchange of energy. It doesn't have to be in the same form. The love language in relationships doesn't have to be the same, but the receptivity of the loving and the affection and the acceptance and the value does need to be there. So it's always up to us to then decide, whoops, looking at the camera, what do we need to do to reclaim our inner power? Do we need to walk away? Maybe, maybe not. Maybe we need to raise our voice. Maybe we need to remind the person that we're with of like, hey, like I'm awesome and I will not tolerate less than treatment. I will not tolerate feeling bad about myself. I will not change who I am to make you feel better or make you feel more comfortable. I'm not going to dull my sparkle to fit what you want because then maybe what you want is we don't match, right? Whatever you need to do to get your power back, to not feel victimized to a relationship right now that is draining you. This is really important, okay? This is why surrender is important because let's say you decide to stay in a relationship or stay in some level of tolerating less than treatment. Um, what is that? Where's that coming from? Is that coming from the belief that, well, if you give up this relationship or you stop trying on this relationship, that there's not another one, this is it, it's this or nothing, okay? And there's no faith that you're worthy of a healthier relationship or a healthier exchange of energy in some other capacity. We have to trust, right? When we surrender, we give it up to God, we give it up to the universe, and we trust that there is always a source for our heart's desire. So if you're working right now through difficult emotions involving you and another person where you really feel like you are not being treated the way that you deserve, you're having to change yourself, you're having to adjust, you're having to appease somebody else, please somebody else, and you're not really getting anything in return. Rather than feeling like, oh my gosh, I need to do it differently because it's still not working, what I'm doing isn't enough, don't give more. Instead, go, whoa, 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 let me pull back my power. Let me spend some time with myself, okay? And let me decide, how do I feel in this exchange of energy? How do I feel in this relationship? And put yourself first because everything shifts. So when we really tap into our worth and our power, when we set the bar and the standard high and we say, hey, this is me and I'm amazing and everybody in my realm, everybody who's in my world is blessed to have me in their world, that sets the energy up. That upgrades everything, okay? Just looking at some of the comments, I have a woman tell me I'm too perfect, so they won't date me. I'm unattainable because I'm above them. That has thrown me for a loop because what do you do with that? That you believe it, okay? You believe it. If that's what they're saying to you, then you believe it. Because if there's something that you are reflecting to them that they don't feel like they deserve you, okay, that you're too good for them, it's probably truth, okay? There's something in their soul that is not resonating and not being on your level. And that's really important for you to know because the healthy relationships, again, there is an equal exchange of energy. So you want to really invest your time and energy in like-minded people, people that are operating at the same level as you. You want people, if you're doing your healing work and you're really valuing yourself and you're putting the effort into your journey and you're vibing up and you're really putting your personal growth first, it's not going to work with somebody who's not doing the same or doesn't have that same mindset or that same open-heartedness, okay? Um, you want to honor yourself above everything. So when somebody says you're too perfect and they don't want to date you, you don't follow that. You don't push for that. You don't chase that because there's a reason that's coming out. And especially when they say that it's like, it's not you, it's me. Yeah, it probably is them. All right. And it's that you're not really just meant to be together right now. Okay. And you don't want to take up space. Here's another whole thing about this. When you're investing your time into a relationship, you're holding that person's energy in your space. You are allowing them to be orbiting around you. If you are clinging to unhealthy relationships and you're not valuing yourself, right? Like you're draining your power to these people. They're taking up space around you. They're draining your life force from you. They're messing with your energy. You're getting out of alignment. If you're trying to people please and you're trying to make somebody else happy and you're like putting your all into that and getting nothing in return, you are out of alignment. That is coming from fear. That is coming from a need to be accepted and a need to belong. That is root chakra sacral chakra, like self-worth issues, right? Now, I'm not saying this from a judgmental place at all. We all go through cycles like this where we've got to check ourselves. We have to kind of pay attention and notice and think, okay, wait a second. I'm afraid to lose this person. I'm afraid of this person not loving me. I'm afraid of this person judging me. I'm afraid of not having this person, whatever it is. Guess what? That right there is when you know you need to surrender the relationship. Okay. So you need to trust where you're at. And if you feel, okay, I'm hearing this, and yes, I definitely, I'm draining my energy. I'm draining my life force to somebody. And I realize that, okay. You need to remember you're worthy of love. You're worthy of acceptance. You don't have to change anything to belong. Okay. Yeah, it shows you're on the right path with yourself. Absolutely. Yeah. Release the people who don't vibe with you right now. Your tribe, you will attract those who are meant to be around you. You don't want to engage in relationships and negotiate your energy with anybody who is not really meant to be around you right now. Okay. You don't want to trade that in, because again, you're taking up space. That person's taking up space. If you release the people who are not with you right now, who are not on the same level as you don't have the same vision, you don't have the same future outlook, you don't have that same vibe, let them go, because that's going to give that space for the people who are on your level to come into your life. Okay. So that's really important. You don't want to cling out of fear, because remember, when you're holding on to something and you're trying to force a connection or force a relationship to evolve and move forward, you're not surrendering. Okay. And this is what Spirit's saying to us right now. We need to surrender. We need to let go and allow things to be what they're supposed to be. So therefore, again, with the worth and inner power coming up, Spirit is saying this is the time to bring things back into balance in your relationships. Inner power says, give me the courage and the power to do what must be done, right? So this is asking for the grace to come in. Give me the courage and the power to do what must be done. Asking Spirit to bless you and support you, because sometimes when we take our power back, especially if it's been a relationship that's been long-term, maybe this is like a habitual situation where you are just ingrained. This could be in a relationship with a narcissist where this has been going on for a really long time, where you've been draining your life force to this person. And for you to take your power back, it takes courage. It takes you loving yourself more than trying to please anybody else. Now, for worth, it says, you have been worthy to belong to love all along without any need to improve. In fact, you are love itself. So there is nothing that needs to change about you. All right, we're going to pull some tarot on this. So stop draining your power. Stop worrying about what other people think. Whatever this relationship is for you, again, whether this is romance, family, work, it doesn't make a difference. In some capacity, wherever your power is being drained, wherever you're seeking approval, wherever you're trying to keep the peace, you're trying to, you're silencing your voice, you're not being authentic to yourself, that is where you're draining your power. All right. That is where you are trading your value and your worth, and it's hurting you. It will always hurt you to do that. Okay. This goes into, we all have archetypes that we work with. Okay. And one of the archetypes that every human being works with is the sacred prostitute. And by that, it means, what are you negotiating your power? To whom are you giving it away? And for what is the trade-off? Okay. And I let go of friends I had for 31 years because we were not on the same level, and I thought it would be hard. It wasn't, and I feel free. Yeah. There is a beautiful freedom of, especially when you're trading your power, there's almost that sense of obligation that comes with it, right? Where you feel your actions and what you do has to serve somebody else and make them happy, right? That's not how it goes. Healthy relationships, that is not how it goes, okay? So it's important to have that self-awareness. Now, back to that sacred prostitute, this is about deciding, what am I willing to give? And is what I'm getting in return of equal value? Okay. So we all do that. We all, think about whatever your career is. What is your trade-off on your time, to your income, to the value that your career holds for you, the joy that you get from your career? Sometimes people will take a job where they're not earning quite as much money because the joy that they get is worth the time and the effort that they put into it. All right. But other times we can abuse that sacred prostitute energy and we can prostitute ourselves. We can give of our time and give of our attention and our energy to get something that doesn't fulfill us quite as much. Okay. That's what we want to watch out for. It is not what we decide to give. It is why are we deciding to give it? Are we giving it out of fear? Are we choosing to take on a job that doesn't light us up, that doesn't inspire us, that doesn't resonate with us, that doesn't make us happy or fulfill us because we need that paycheck, because we're afraid that we can't get that money from another source? We're looking at that job as source energy instead of source, God, as source energy. Okay. So it's all about the intention. Why do you do what you do? Why are you showing up the way that you're showing up? That's what this full moon is all about. So any emotions that you're wrestling around your relationships and what you're putting in versus what you're getting back, this is the kind of energy. This is where you need to take that honest inventory and really love yourself enough to put up your healthy boundaries. Okay. I see we have another comment. I unfortunately let go of my parents and one sibling about a year ago, struggling to find myself again without them in my life anymore. Yeah, that's an incredibly difficult decision. But when you make that decision, then it's because you probably had no choice, right? If you're letting go of your family, like blood does not equal obligation for life. If you're being abused, if you're being mistreated, if the boundaries aren't respected, if there's trauma, we don't owe anything to anyone, even our blood family. Okay. This is so important. There are some of us that have to make really, really hard decisions and really break away from the tribe and go our own way. All right. So this is hard stuff, right? This is why that inner power says, give me the courage, right? I'm just going to hold it up so you guys can see it a little better. Give me the courage and the power to do what must be done. Now, I believe you will find your way, okay? And it's not about finding your way without them. It's about finding your way for yourself. And we can get into the fact that I'll tell you right now, your map to find your way, guys, is your solar journey. It's your sun sign. I'm going to be doing once a month talks about the sun signs. I already did one about Aries when Aries season began last week. So if you're an Aries sun, go ahead and watch last week's reading because that'll give you some information on following your sun, following the path of healing that that came into this lifetime with you based on when you were born. Okay. And I can't see, unfortunately, because I'm on StreamYard, I only see Facebook user as the name. So I can't see who is making these comments. So I'm sorry that I'm not saying your names, guys. It's because I can't see them right now. But so anyway, with that being said, so with the tarot, we are getting the Ace of Coins, which is awesome because the Ace of Coins is all about a new beginning. This is a new seed being planted. What's so cool about this, we know a full moon is a release. And we know we're working around releasing toxic energies and dynamics in relationships. So what this tells me is that we're all here available for a new start, okay? An Ace of Pentacles is a new beginning. This is us planting a seed for what we want to come. This is us manifesting. This is taking action towards a new beginning that will and does guarantee abundance. It guarantees success, health, wealth. That's the kind of energy the Ace of Pentacles brings in. And it's also followed up by the world, okay? So we have the world, this couple celebrating. And this is like another shift into a new chapter, okay? So for those of you that are in a relationship and your release is of potentially tolerating stuff that's unhealthy, okay? So let's say you're in a relationship and you decide tonight because of this reading or what's in your soul already that there is an aspect to your relationship that needs to go. You're done with it. You know it's draining your power. You know it's messing with your sense of self-worth. You know that you need to take your power back, right? This to me is, by you taking that action, it's going to improve the relationship, all right? With the world, we are going into a new beginning, a new chapter. This is a transition. This is like going through a doorway, okay? So with the new seeds being planted, it's going to manifest a new experience. Now, for others of you, this might be releasing a relationship completely to create a new space. Again, you're creating a new energy dynamic in your life. So whether this is a shift with a person that you're going to stay with, or this is an actual release of somebody where you're no longer going to give them your time and your attention, maybe your commitment, all right? There is going to be a changeover in the energy that exists here for you, in the experience that is here for you. Now, we do have the Five of Wands coming up, and this does represent conflict, okay? And it does come with, it's the Five of Wands is always, to me, like people just, giving their opinions and telling you what you should do and maybe disagreeing with you. This is discord. This is like a lack of harmony. When we have the Five of Wands, we're dealing with some negative energy that may make us feel that we need to defend ourselves or explain ourselves or justify ourselves. This could show up in difficult conversations. This could show up in you pursuing what is right for you. Sometimes when we are renegotiating the power exchange, the energy exchange between us and others, if the person or the people that we are dealing with, they might not be happy about this. If you suddenly are using your voice and standing up for yourself and not taking shit, they might get a little annoyed by that. Okay. They might kind of come at you. It's almost like a bit of a test of like, wait a minute, are you sure you're going to be this powerful? Are you sure you're ready to, do this on your own? Are you sure you're strong enough? Yes, I am sure I'm strong enough, because that is followed up. It's so perfect. We have the Five of Wands followed up by the Six of Wands, victory. Okay. This is, not only am I strong enough, but I'm moving on. I am overcoming. I am so sure of myself and I am feeling myself. Okay. You are not going to get to me. The Six of Wands is awesome because it's a leadership energy. This is like self-leadership. This is like, I know who I am. I know what I'm worth. I know what I want is what I deserve. If I can envision it, then it's meant for me. If I envision a beautiful, healthy relationship where I am loved and I am respected and I am valued and I am heard and I am nurtured, then it is available to me and I shall go have it. Okay. I will move on if I have to, unless something changes right here. Okay. For each of you, this is going to be different for each of us. But the thing that's awesome is that it's here for us. It's here for us to choose. We get to choose to respect ourselves and love ourselves at all times. So let's continue. I'm going to pull a Wild Offering card on this by Tosha Silver, one of my other favorite decks. And this, I'm just thinking like, this is self-discovery, right? Because relationships are our teachers. And let's say, in this relationship dynamic that's on your heart, whoever, whatever you're thinking of when you're listening to this, whoever you're thinking of, they're not the enemy and we're not the victim to them. Okay. We instead are experiencing a dynamic that is allowing us to discern what we want, what we like versus what we don't want and don't like. Okay. So when somebody puts your back up against a wall and forces you to take your power back, forces you to create a healthy boundary, they're doing you a favor. They're giving you a gift, because if they weren't creating the situation for you, would you be doing it? Okay. Their behavior, their words might be the exact catalyst that you agreed upon in your relationship, because we have sacred contracts with each other. Our people are our soulmates, but not all your soulmates are fairy tale soulmates of romance and love. Some of your soulmates are your enemies. So you perceive, all right? They're not really, because once this life is over and we're all back up in heaven, we love each other and we're really not enemies at all. Instead, we sign up to help each other grow and learn. So some of our, I would say all of our most difficult, challenging relationships, especially the ones that make you feel like you have to change yourself, that force you to confront these feelings of worthiness and these feelings of acceptance and love, they're doing this for a reason. They're doing this so that you can choose you. They're doing this so that you understand that you have a choice. You are a creator of your experiences. You don't need to look to anybody else to give you the love that you deserve, because you are love. Remember what it says on our worth card. It says you've been worthy to belong to love all along without any need to improve. In fact, you are love itself. You are love. So your sense of security, your sense of worthiness, it needs to come from inside yourself. When you realize that you're depending on that for somebody else, if you're in a codependent relationship and you realize that it's somebody else's words and actions and treatment that are making you, make or breaking how you feel about yourself, that's when you realize, okay, wait a second. No, I'm not going to allow that, because I am a beautiful, sovereign, divine soul in this human body having this human experience. All the love and abundance that is available in this universe is my birthright. So rather than feeling stuck, we feel that awareness of what we really want. Okay. And that's when we go and get it. So thanks. Yeah, my guy. Facebook people can't see my puppy laying on the couch behind me. So we're getting this this message of striving. Okay. Striving. It says eventually the individual ego's drive to make things happen falls away, replaced with a relaxed, trusting openness to answers as they arise. Thank you, Divine, for letting me move with the flow. We don't have to strive for any outcomes. And that's really hard for us to deal with, that idea, right? Because we are born thinking we've got to work our butts off to have what we want. We've got to put the effort in. We've got to do the work. And yeah, there's work and there's attention that we need to be putting on things, okay? But striving is when we're forcing. Striving is when we're clawing our way to what we think we want and need. We need, again, striving is the opposite of surrender, right? So we have this message of surrender coming through. There is a letting go that has to happen. If you find that you have been trying to force something to happen a certain way, force a relationship to be a certain way, you have to stop. You've got to let go of the reins, okay? You have to release how this relationship is, and you need to just let it play out. See how the other person shows up. This was another message that came through today. See how the other person shows up, and then go from there. If you put that boundary up and you stand in your power and you don't let insecurities or unworthiness get to you, don't let those beliefs or those emotions shake you, and you stand in your power, see how your person shows up. If they show up to do the work with you and they show up to meet that expectation that you put out there, if they raise the way they treat you to match the vibration that you're operating at, awesome. If they don't, let them go. Okay. It isn't about forcing them. We shouldn't have to coax somebody or convince someone that we're worth it. That is not how it works. In a healthy relationship, each person is there for the same reason, on the same track, okay? Like doing the same thing, headed towards the same direction, with maybe the same goal in mind, with an equal vibe of, I want to be here, I want to do this, I want to enjoy my time with you. You know, whatever this is, if there's any level of forcing, coaxing, manipulating, and again, changing yourself to try to make them be feeling the way that you want them to feel, get rid of it. It's not for you. Okay. So surrendering this desire to force something to be a certain way because we think that's what we want. Again, when we cling to anything unhealthy, we're taking up space in our field. When we're holding on to relationships that are not for us right now, we're just taking up space that could totally be filled with more joy, more love, and more true, authentic connection. We have to accept when something isn't for us, okay? And, so again, for some of us, this might mean saying goodbye, but for others, it is an upgrading of your energy, making sure you're operating in your confidence and in your self value, all right? We are getting travel. Let every aspect of this trip unfold in harmony. May divine order arrange and handle every detail. I'll be guided easily and follow the leads as they are shown. This card always could absolutely mean really, truly, physically traveling somewhere. Again, going with the flow, surrendering. If there are those of you who have been debating about going somewhere and traveling, this would be a validation that it is like green light, go. But there's also the metaphorical traveling of the journey, okay? And again, letting every aspect of this trip unfold in harmony, letting every aspect of the journey, of the exploration of yourself within your relationships unfold in harmony, not gripping on too tightly, not trying to force something to be what it's not, okay? Letting things flow. If something needs to go, let it go. All right? Okay. Now, let's see. I don't know what I want to pull next. We're going to do a Queen of the Moon card because this is, a full moon reading. So we'll pull some moon cards. And I do see that as we take this next step, if we decide to stand in our worth and stand in our power and lay down those healthy boundaries and trust that if something needs to go, it's time to go. As we do that, we are going to have a little bit of conflict. We are going to have a little bit of resistance, but it is going to even out, okay? It is going to, again, still that energy shifting is bringing us to that Six of Wands, that victory and the world, the shifting in what we're experiencing, this new chapter. So stay strong, all right? We did have number 44, the supermoon attraction, come flying out. So this is a beautiful, powerful, a supermoon is like an amplification of the full moon, all right? And I think tonight actually is a supermoon. So this is perfect. So we have attraction, remembering that what we put out, the energy that we put out is what we receive back. So when we're thinking of attraction, we're thinking of, okay, I know that I deserve to be treated a certain way. I know that I am, I'm an amazing soul. I have so much to offer. So I'm going to continue to stay in that mindset of self-love. I am going to respect myself. I am going to think of myself with kind and empowering thoughts. I am going to have compassion for myself. I'm going to offer myself forgiveness. I'm going to offer myself encouragement. I am not going to accept less than treatment. I'm not going to let anybody speak to me unkindly. I'm not going to tolerate any level of an imbalance in my relationships, okay? When you hold yourself to that high standard, that is when you're going to be attracting that same energy, because what you put out is what you get back. If you're down in the dumps, feeling bad about yourself, judging yourself, criticizing yourself, thinking thoughts of unworthiness, thinking, thoughts of that it's never going to happen. I'm never going to have the love that I want. I'm never going to have that type of connection. That is what you're going to get back, okay? Because the energy that you're putting out, you're drawing to you. So it's really important that we maintain a higher level of frequency with our thoughts. This is really, really important. All right. And I see that funny face somebody posted. Okay. Ah, how beautiful. We have Faith, the worm moon, Faith. And you can see she's like the Empress, the divine feminine with the pregnant belly that looks like the world, sitting in a space of peace, understanding that she is attracting and manifesting what she wants through her energy, not because she's trying to force anything, not because she's trying to change to make somebody love her. She is sitting in herself. She is sitting in a place of sovereign, stable self-love and self-trust. This is where we need to be, each and every one of us. So any relationships or situations that have been rocking you, have been stressing you out, have been making you question yourself, have been, triggering self-doubt, triggering these thoughts of criticism, Those are the opposite of what we want to be thinking, okay? We want to be really mindful of self-love and kind, compassionate, loving thoughts for ourselves, because this full moon, what you release, what you consciously say, I am ready to release these unhealthy patterns, you're working with your energy. This is energy work. So you might want to write down these specific things that you deal with. If you have a specific relationship that you're listening to this thinking about, maybe you want to make a list of the dynamic within that relationship, of maybe it's the way you're spoken to. Maybe it's some of the expectations that go on in the relationship, some of the feelings that the other person creates inside of you. What do you struggle with in that relationship? Write it down and then burn it. Okay. Get rid of it. Work with your own energy to then, create what it is that you want. All right. Focus on what you want, what you think about, you bring about. So, really make a list of what a beautiful relationship would be like for you. Make a list of, what would bring you joy, what would bring you happiness. And again, this doesn't have to be romantic. Look at that. We have change, thunder, moon, change. Yeah. We're really working with like a new root chakra energy coming through here. All right. This is, and she's even like, it's like a black and white card. It looks like a storm. And she's got that red root chakra, flowy like gown. She's like pushing off the planet. This is like taking charge. This is like, I'm going to create my new normal. I'm going to decide what I feel and what I experience and who gets to be around me. It's really truly taking our power back, okay? And getting rid of that energy that we know is not healthy for us. And then finally, we're getting patience, which is the green corn moon. And I love this. There it is again. There's so much root chakra energy being reconfigured right now, guys. There is a sense here of, there it's like going through the birth canal to be born. It's like we're in the tunnel, we could see it, but we're doing some work right now. This is all about loving yourself enough to do the changes, okay? To create the healthy boundaries, to monitor your thoughts and really truly treat yourself with the love you deserve. And then everybody else in your life will follow suit. Okay. People will treat you as you see yourself. So it's really important to do the inner work. It is not about changing anybody that you're with. It's not about forcing anybody to change. This is about the internal work of how much you love yourself, how much you value yourself. And rather than trying to force anything, it's about letting go of the reins. Okay. Focus on yourself and your reality is going to shift. All right. We're going to finish this up with an angel card. And even if there's resistance, it's okay. Hey, Chris, you're going to have to catch the replay. Yeah. I feel like I'm always catching your replays. I'm never on time when you go live. All right. So we're pulling an angel card to see what the angels want us to know, but we are all being encouraged in some capacity to embrace the change that's needed in the way that we're showing up in our relationships. We are getting take a step back. So I think that we are giving of ourselves too much. I think that there is a lot of us on here, if not every single one of us, in the relationships that we're talking about here. We're giving of ourselves way too much. This is why we're being drained. We are showing up in a fantastic way, probably, but yet that other person isn't doing the same for us. So take a step back. All right. Pull back your energy. Allow other people to give to you. You want to allow that open energy for receiving, where you stand here expectantly waiting for somebody to show up the way that you deserve. Okay. Not because you've earned it or because you have to change anything about yourself, but simply because you deserve it, because everybody deserves it. So if you've been the partner that goes over and above and goes, just put your all into everything and you're not being valued the way that you deserve, Spirit is saying, stop doing, stop always being there. Where can you take that energy? If you're investing that energy into somebody else and you're showing up and you're giving them all your attention and all your love and all your devotion and you're not getting that back, well, then take that away. Okay. Pull back and give it to yourself. What can you do for yourself that you're not doing for yourself because you're so busy doing it for the other person? Okay. And it's not a punishment. Again, this is self-love. This is knowing and having that awareness of there is an imbalance here. This is not an equal relationship, and it's not okay because relationships need to be equal. All right. End of story. And the reason is the energy exchange. There's toxicity when somebody takes more than they give. There's something there that is an imbalance within somebody's own system. It doesn't mean that if our partner, has an imbalanced root chakra and needs us to compliment them all the time, or needs us to, constantly reassure them that I'm here for you. I'm never going to leave. You always have me. Let me take care of everything for you. Let me fix all of your problems. Let me make everything better for you. That is not what you're supposed to do because their imbalanced root chakra is their problem, not yours. You are responsible for your happiness. Every one of us, we are responsible for our own level of happiness. Okay. So take a step back, pull back where you're giving too much. And we have beautiful healing energy coming through. There's that heart chakra healing energy. What could be more healing than giving ourselves the self-love that we need? And I love that this has Archangel Raphael's caduceus here. I love that. I actually have that painted on my son's wall for healing. This is about recognizing the fact that there is an imbalance. Okay. There is something off. You deserve more. You deserve better. You deserve peace. You deserve love. So you must give that to yourself by monitoring your energy and really no longer allowing the imbalance to exist in whatever this relationship is for you. And this is the reason that you pulled away last year. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And you followed your soul on that. You didn't, that's not a mistake. Okay. You did what you had to do because your soul was guiding you. Our soul's always speaking to us. We're always in communication with our higher self. Whether or not we choose to acknowledge it is up to us, right? There's lots of times when we might not choose to acknowledge it because it's hard, right? It's hard to come to terms with potentially a relationship not being what it should be or could be. It's hard to accept potentially, defeat or the ending of something, especially if something has been in place for so long. Okay. There is pain that comes with that. There is disappointment. There is grief that comes with that. All right. There is a grieving process because when we do this, when we pull back and when we really truly love ourselves enough to no longer give so freely, it definitely changes the dynamic, and there will be an exiting of that energy, and it does take some time to reconfigure. We have to let changes integrate. This is a part of energy work. When we upgrade and when we're doing our work and we're working with our energy and we're working with our mindsets and we're exploring our beliefs and we are reprogramming our beliefs, there's going to be moments where you just have to just allow the energy to integrate into your system that's changing. And that can bring some really difficult emotions. Okay. When this to me indicates like when you make these changes, when you have the courage to do what's right for you. And if that means that some people have to go or you have to pull back from some people, you're going to feel the sadness. You're going to feel the loss of what felt maybe stable for you in a certain way, even if it wasn't fulfilling you. It still was something maybe you thought you could rely on as being there. The potential, the way that we try to, a lot of times we see the potential in someone, we see the potential in a relationship, and we kind of cling to that. And if that no longer exists, if we have to release that, that could be another part of our grieving. But this is where surrender needs to be happening, right? This is where we need to give up the grief. We need to give up the sadness. We need to trust that the universe has our back and that this is happening for a reason, okay? Surrender says sometimes learning to surrender can feel as if you are dying. The ego learns what's hardest: to stop trying to control the whole universe. Yeah, that's surrender is really, really challenging, especially if you're a person that really likes to have a sense of control. especially if you're surrendering something that you thought was an absolute. You know, life throws us curveballs. Whatever this full moon is bringing up for you, if what you're hearing is resonating and you're listening to this and you're like, yeah, I've known there was an unhealthy dynamic. Like, this isn't really news to me, but here, this is this validation. You really need to do some work tonight before you go to sleep. Like, pray, meditate, journal. What keeps you in alignment with you? What keeps you being true to you? Valuing yourself, whatever that is, whatever that looks like or sounds like in terms of your decisions, that's what you have to do. Okay. No matter how difficult it is, you have to love yourself enough to do the hard thing. Because when you do, as much as in the moment, you're going to need this beautiful angelic healing energy to come in and comfort you, you're not always going to need this because it is going to get better. Oh, hey, David. It's so funny. Your name comes up, Christine's names come up, but like then other names just say Facebook user. So weird. This all makes sense why somehow I caught this. Cool. Yeah. So you have to love yourself first, right? And that's something that's difficult for all of us in certain moments in time, in certain relationships. It's hard to let go of what could be or what we thought would be. But if it's negative, if it's toxic, if it's abusive, if it is, a narcissistic relationship, whatever, however it's showing up, you need to do what's right for you. Okay? Because you will heal. You will feel better. And that space that is created is absolutely going to be filled with something much healthier. Because by releasing and by surrendering, you've now given the message to the universe of, I know what I want. I want a healthy relationship. I want a loving relationship. I want to feel valued. I want to feel respected. The universe is going to bring that to you because you've made the space for it. So this healing is a process, but it's not for the rest of your life. It is going to shift. All right. Okay. Oh, you know what we'll do? We'll finish this up with a starseed card. That's what we'll do. We'll look at this from what do the ascended masters want to say about this Libra full moon and this healing that is here for our hearts. That might take some courage and strength. I see somebody said this is an amazing reading. I loved it. Thank you so very much. You're so welcome. Blessed to know you. Oh, you're so welcome. When I get onto Facebook, I'm going to see who you are that just said that. I'm sorry, guys. It's StreamYard, David. You're right. I don't know why StreamYard doesn't register everybody's names. It's really annoying, but whatever. But if you're on YouTube, thanks for watching, because this is also streaming to YouTube, which is something fun. And Instagram, thanks for watching. All right. Look at this. Okay. We're getting, I'm sorry, defenselessness, writing past wrongs, uprooting. I mean, talk about spirit being like, hey, Lauren, your reading's not totally done yet because we're going to wallop you with a really, really heavy duty card. Oh, Chris, you're welcome. Hey, no problem, Melissa. Oh, yes, it is. It is emotional. We're talking heart chakra healing, guys. Like this is what we live for. Our relationships are the whole point of this life. So this is no small feat. And this is really a powerful card to end on. So you'll see that it says, I'm sorry. And it has these two beings with their roots. Notice how the beings have their roots going down into the earth with the energy being exchanged. And I'm just going to show Instagram over here. But the roots look like the silhouette of the people. Okay. So it's like the soul roots. With the energy coming up and this energetic tree growing in between them, and both beings in a state of what looks like, yeah, this is a really intense card, what looks like apology and asking for forgiveness. And it says defenselessness. They can't defend themselves. Writing past wrongs. This is about coming into balance. This is about somebody being accountable to somebody else for their behaviors and their actions and decisions, for the pain that they've caused, for how they've used their energy. Guys, I mean, this card is so intense. This, when you look at the people that are, kneeling, and then you look at the silhouetted roots beneath them, this is very representative of our soul, of our energy on this earth as we walk around, and have our relationships and have our interactions and how we conduct ourselves. There's an accountability coming in with this full moon that is about really owning up to our part in things, owning up to the role that we've played in things. There's a healing that's necessary for both sides. This is not one versus the other. This is both sides. This is both parties being accountable for the way they've shown up. And what's interesting is the uprooting, creating the new root, right? And that's what I said before with these cards. We have all of this root chakra shifting, all of this sense of stability shifting coming through in these cards because, because this is what has to happen. When a relationship is rooted in beliefs of somebody, owes somebody else something, in order to feel fulfilled and happy, my partner needs to do certain things for me, treat me a certain way, spend a certain amount of money, show up a certain way, because my happiness depends on what they're doing. So they need to do that to make me happy. That's not how it should be. Okay. So when we recognize these unhealthy dynamics and these unhealthy expectations that we've put on each other, we need to shift. We need to get rid of it, because all of the unhealthy patterns are coming from fear, a fear of being rejected, a fear of feeling unworthy, a fear of not belonging, a fear of being abandoned. So sometimes we root in and we attach ourselves to a dynamic that, while it's not healthy and it doesn't necessarily serve us, it does give us a sense of that stability, but it's fake stability. Okay. It's not healthy. We're all guilty of it. Okay. We're all always operating from our beliefs and operating from our wounds. A lot of times, what goes on within a relationship is coming from wounds that are unhealed in each person. All right. The problems that exist in relationships are usually when the wounds get triggered. Okay. When somebody does something or says something that triggers those feelings of pain inside you, the unworthiness, the not being good enough, fear of rejection, all of that. So we unfortunately do these things to each other subconsciously. I mean, sometimes consciously too. People certainly choose to hurt each other. But there's also the subconscious aspect to it. So even if we're in a relationship that hasn't served us and we do need to take our power back and there is this imbalance, there's also like a message here of us being accountable as well, that we're not 100% victims of, let's say, another person. We've played a role. We have traded our energy willingly in some way. So once we have this awareness of what it is, once we realize, okay, well, I was willing to tolerate this and accept this because I really was just afraid of potentially ending up alone, or afraid of them seeing me differently, afraid of losing their approval, whatever. Okay. Maybe afraid of them physically, maybe afraid of them emotionally because they're abusive. In whatever capacity this dynamic is happening, it's being aware of the fact that our belief system has to change. We've got to reprogram and reframe and reroute into something much healthier that supports our inner power and our self-worth. Okay. That's what this has to be. This is a reconfiguring of the, over here, of the energy that we have in this relationship. We are reconfiguring this, the agreement that we have. We're being accountable. We're owning it. We're loving ourselves through it. We're loving the other person through it, because we're all just trying to do our best. Again, if that person is abusive in any way, shape, or form, you can love them from a distance, because you don't want to trade your power and worth to what needs healing in them. okay? Because that is their job. We are each responsible for our own healing. If for some of you, this relationship shift can happen together because you're both willing to do that work, you're both feeling that way and wanting to make that decision. Beautiful. Only you know what that means for you, okay? But this full moon is really a beautiful, beautiful time for relationship healing. And this is about trust and surrender. This is, if you owe somebody an apology, then you need to apologize. If you've been the person who has been the taker, if you've been the energy vampire, if you've been the person who is, having these really, unfair expectations or harsh judgments, whatever the case is, if that's you, you've got to own that and give yourself love and compassion, because that's coming from someplace in you that needs more love, because you're searching for that love and you're trying to pull that love from some other source, but really you got to give it to yourself. Okay. So there is some accountability here. There is some true raw self-reflection here of owning the energy that we bring into the relationship. And then that conscious choice of, well, how do I want this to go? What do I want to transmute and transform here that exists between me and this person, that I am ready, for a healthier dynamic? And that self-awareness and recognition is always the first thing, and then comes conscious choice and action. So it's showing up differently, it's doing the work, it's working through the beliefs, it's healing the pain, healing the trauma that's brought you to this point. There is no judgment here, okay? It's about righting past wrongs and uprooting, rerouting, pulling up and out and retracting your energy from what you know is not healthy and what is not serving you or your partners. Okay. And rerouting and getting down into the healthy energy dynamic of the equal give and take. Okay. Letting what needs to go, allowing in what is ready to come in, and really being on the same page. And again, loving yourself through it. All right. I let people treat me bad in order to not be without them. Couldn't handle the alone, but I have changed that. And I know I'm never truly alone, and love me enough to know I deserve better. Absolutely. I mean, I don't know. I know for me personally, I certainly have let people treat me bad in the past simply to keep them there. Right. I definitely had relationships like that were super unhealthy. It's about recognizing it, and it's about saying, wait a second, I'm doing this because I'm afraid if I don't have this person. I'm afraid of what that's going to feel like or how I'm going to think about myself. Getting down to the core root of those beliefs, of really truly remembering who you are and the beautiful soul that you are, and the fact that every one of us, we're born with the birthright to experience love and abundance and joy. Okay. So we don't want to stay clinging out of fear to what is no longer for us. We want to release, and we want to allow that beautiful, healthy energy to come in when it's ready. Just because you release doesn't mean it happens overnight, right? There is a healing process. So don't forget that with our angels that came through, we have taking a step back and healing energy. So give yourself grace, give yourself time to reroute this new energy dynamic, to reroute into the beliefs of the worthiness and inner power. Okay. Trust that this healing energy is bringing you the courage that you need. Okay. To operate from your power, to stay connected to your worth. You're being guided, you're being loved through it all. And this, to me, it's an intense card, this I'm sorry. But this card represents a beautiful transformation between two people. This really represents, they even kind of look like I kind of see like a heart shape here between the people that are kneeling and the rooted silhouettes underground. All right. It's all about love. It's all about honoring what was taught through the relationship. Okay. And again, it doesn't mean that it has to be an ending to a relationship. For some of us, it might be. For others, it might be a restructuring of that energy. Okay. And again, it's going to take some time. It's going to take time and commitment, and it might feel hard. It is going to feel hard. But that's part of that uprooting the negative, toxic behaviors and patterns that exist to reroute into something healthier. There might be messy conversations. There might have to be repetition. There might have to be you talking yourself through something to stay strong in certain moments. Do what you got to do, but always stay grounded in who you are and what you deserve, and the fact that you are a beautiful soul that deserves love and respect and joy and authentic connection. Let that be your foundational starting point here. All right. So, okay. Well, I hope that you like this reading and I hope that you found it helpful. I wish you all love and light as you explore and work with these relationship dynamics that have come out tonight. Don't forget that, Spirit gave us the Ace of Coins and the World. There is a new chapter here. The seeds that have been planted are going to bring us to a new experience. So you want to remember that the changes that you're making are for your own good. They're going to bring in your joy. They're going to bring in more love, definitely more self-love, definitely probably new people for some of you. There's going to be a new experience. So plant the seeds of self-respect and self-love, and be honest with yourself and be brave and be courageous and allow things to change as necessary. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching, whether you are on Instagram or Facebook or YouTube. I really appreciate it. And I wish you guys a wonderful evening and week. Take care. And now I have to figure out how to end this.